what it's like living with Apple. Now, most people will consider me a Android user, and I will say, yeah, you can say that if you want to classify me, but I don't really want to classify myself as a base user. Android is probably my main device, but a little history on me. I owned every iPhone but the 5C and the 13 series today. I always had a soft spot for iOS, and I always own a device. I've been using Mac for a long time as well, since pretty much the beginning days of Mac up until even now. My preference is iMacs over MacBook Pros or even the Mini that I currently have. So I'm really want to switch back to iMac, but um, I always had an iPhone, I always had iOS. Now, the one thing I did not like back in the days was like the iPads, like the early iPads that came out, like when it first came out, launched. I was still kind of like, oh man, Android is better, and stuff like that. And over the years, I just didn't want to touch an iPad. And how crazy is this though, right? I owned almost every iPad as well. you know, the thing is that it's funny because if you think about if I think about how long I've been using iOS, I will consider myself iOS and a Android user because before any of those, I was on Windows. And when I had my Windows phone, like the HD2, the Touch Pro 2, all of that, all the Windows goodness, man, old school, So, and actually PDAs, I came from PDAs or whatever. So, I've been had a stylus right before the notes and stuff like that. But from that, I always, always been able to do so much on a device. And when I grabbed my first iPhone, I felt so limited. I felt so like they were controlling too much of the experience and stuff like that. Because at the time, I didn't know. When I jumped into the smartphone realm, I really didn't know like the limits of what you can do in these phones. Like there was no limits. It was like if you thought about it, you can do it. If you wanted to do it, then you can do it, right? And then I grabbed an iPhone for the first time, and it was like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that. So from the beginning, that's why I never like dedicated myself to like becoming full blown into iOS ecosystem or just iOS itself because of those limits. And I was younger, right? So at that time in my life, I was always like modding phones, rooting, hacking, doing any kind of like side loading. I was like deep into that. So when you're somebody that's into that, and then you pretty much get a phone that can't do any of that, or if you can do it, it's so much more complicated to do it that you just fear that you don't want to do it, so you won't mess up the device, and there's no way to roll back. It's just like it just you just don't want to do it. So that was iOS to me. It was just like no, I just got to just use the device. But every time that I grab my iPhone or whatever, my favorite was like the 3GS, 3SG, 3GS. That's what it was, right? 3G, then 3GS. Yes. So I love that phone, and I use it a lot or whatever. But I always felt held back or limited to what I really wanted to do with my devices. So I was like, okay, this would be a good device to be beside a device that I like because I still like a lot of things about this. Because even back then, I used my iPhones as like iPods. You know, while I had my Android phone with me or whatever Android phone I was using, I always had an iPhone that I always plugged up my headphones to, and I was jamming to the music, letting the battery die on that thing. While my Android phone, whew, you already know back then Android phones battery was trash. And matter of fact, iOS batteries, actually all phones batteries was trash. If you think about it, to be honest with you, they just started getting good a couple of years ago, and iOS or Apple just now making the best now, after all these years. But yeah, phone batteries was really bad. So I always, instead of me buying an iPod, I just preferred to keep an iPhone. So that was like the main reason why I had an iPhone a lot of the times and stuff like that. And of course, I wasn't using like iMessage and messaging and all that at the time because, it wasn't like that big, and it wasn't that serious. Everybody was still SMS at the time, and out of nowhere, I woke up one morning, and everybody's like, "Yo, iOS, and iPhone, iMessage, and FaceTime." I was like, I was like, I don't care. All right. So that history. Then when it comes back to the iPads, I always had an iPad as well, but I always this is crazy. So listen to this. So while the iPad remained consistent and good, right, and at that given time, because iPads were slow back then, but they didn't feel slow because it didn't, you know, if you compare then to now, then yes, but not then. It was slow, right? But while I was out here trying to find the perfect Android tablet out here, the iPad was already that good. Like literally already that good. I'm out here buying some Android tablets I ain't never heard of by companies I ain't never heard of. I was getting them imported from Japan, from China, just all kinds of different places and stuff like that, and just fake Play stores on them and just everything. I really wanted to have that Android experience, right? That I had on my phone on a giant tablet. And at that time, not having like an Android OS and a, you know, like how we got iPad iOS and then iPad OS, not having that experience was completely fine at the time, right? It's like you wanted Android just on a bigger screen, and that's what we got. That's why, and it's crazy because we still kind of got that today. Um, Most of the apps now are kind of ported over to tablet. Not a lot of them, but well, actually more than less. At least the important ones, right, are ported over into like a tablet form type factor or whatever, and then even like Dex and stuff like that is like really trying to change everything when it comes to tablets and stuff, and I appreciate that, right? But anyways, let's get back to the point, right? My iPad was already great, and I didn't even know it. Right, I'm sitting here, you know, trying to use Android and wanted to use Android on the tablet, and you know, I fell on the Nexus 7, fell in love with that. That was the jank. I used to walk around with that, you know, back in the days, you know, the 90s, right? Uh, our pants were really, really baggy, so I could fit a whole tablet in my back pocket. So I used to walk around with that tablet in my back pocket and stuff like that, and it was so awesome or whatever. So because you know we were still kind of dressing like that, don't judge. But yeah. So anyways, I used to walk around with a tablet in my back pocket. Then you know the Nexus 9 came out, and it was like okay, but after the Nexus 9, you know, I also try in between all of that Samsung tablets because at this point, I'm very aware of like you know brands. I didn't even know I was a tech guy before I was a tech guy, so I'm very aware of a lot of brands and everything like that. So now it was like okay, the go-to tablets are between you know Nexus or Google or whoever was making it at the time, and well HTC and Google, right? I forgot who made the first one. I forgot who made the first Nexus, but anyways, um, you know all of that, whatever. I was trying to find the perfect tablet, and I was dibbling dabbling between Samsung and which one, and they were just never really that good. You know, they were good, but they you know TouchWiz was really bad, and just everything. Android tablets just was bad, right? Really really bad, and I decided to just say forget it, and I got the Air iPad 2, and at that point when I got the iPad 2, and this was I got this when it was already old. I think we was like on a third generation, maybe if I can recall. But I got on the iPad 2. You know, the timeline that I'm talking right now might not mix up. Just know that somewhere down that line, I stopped buying Android tablets. I just gave up, and I was like, I'm done with these. They don't they're not taking it serious. They're not trying to do anything with these tablets, right? And even the Nexus 10, I remember having that too as well. So I just got an iPad. And then since then, I always used an iPad. I have used the iPad since the beginning. I had the iPad 1, the 2, the third generation, fourth generation, I believe the fifth. And then I bought a mini at one point. Only bought one mini, though. I didn't keep buying a bunch of minis. I tried one mini. I was like, nah, this is too small for me. I ain't buying no more minis. Even today, I would not buy a mini. So, in matter of fact, today, I would not buy an Air. I will only buy the Pros. That's it. There's nothing else I would buy as far as the iPad line besides a Pro. That's it. That 120 hertz refresh rate and a lot of other Pro features up there, the screen, the speakers, just everything in general speaks to me. So anything less than that is trash. Not saying iPads are trash, right? But anything below that, that iPad to me is just like the bare minimum. That's just for those people like, and I want the you know what I'm saying? I want the head turner ones, you know, or whatever. So I've been on iPad for a long time, and I loved it, and I never looked away or whatever like that. So when it came to iOS or Apple products, I fell in love with iPads really really quick, and I stayed with iPads for a lot of years. I still to this day, 2022, right now, I still have not fell in love with the iPhone. I still kind of like feel like iOS itself is not for me, like on the phone itself. So, but living with it as a secondary device still to this day is fine with me. I can definitely walk around with my whatever Android phone I got in my pocket of choice because I jump around or whatever like that. Not like I don't really stick to one company. If somebody makes a better Android phone that fits me, then I buy it or whatever like that. And then my iPhone is always in my tech bag with me, or it might be in my pocket or whatever. And I use it just like my iPhone. I use it all day. It does have its own phone number and everything like that because it's my business line. So I use it just as much as I use my Android phone, but when it comes to everything, like mainly, a daily drive and my main phone calls, main numbers, everything in my main sim is inside my Android phone. Now, beyond that, I always had a MacBook. I had old MacBooks. I just never liked with me when I with laptops. Laptops sit around my house. I buy a laptop whether it's Surface or some old HP back in the days. I bought different brands back in the days, or any Apple ones. They just sit. They just sit and sit. I am not a laptop guy. I have never been a real laptop guy. Now the two-in-one tablet thing, like the Surface Pro line, those get more used out of me because I can use the pen to draw today, and I can carry it and use it as a tablet, and just the two-in-one that gets used more because I just never been like one of those guys for laptops. So that's the thing. But I always, every blue moon, every year or two, 2 years, 3 years, I will go grab a MacBook, try it again, sell it again, and everything. The only thing that's been consistent in my life as far as Apple products have been the iPhone, iPads, and iMacs. That's the most consistency that you would get. I have had Apple Watches. I bought every Apple Watch up until the 5. I think the last one I bought was the 5. That was the last one I owned. But I owned all the generations before that. I owned all the AirPods that they had. And I also own the Maxes today. Now, living, the AirPods and stuff like that, I like high quality music. I used to do music back in the days, and I listened to some really good headphones, and I'm really about quality. And this is subjective because I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to say anything bad about AirPods, but AirPods sound quality are not they're not up to my standard. So, to me, they're just not good enough. So I didn't use them or my pros and I sold them. But the AirPods Max, they meet my standards. They don't meet them fully because I'm used to wired headphones sound quality more than anything, but they meet my standards a lot and I love those headphones. So me owning Apple, I've been in Apple since the beginning, and I still will continue to buy and use Apple products and everything to this day, and Android and Windows and Samsung and Microsoft and just whoever. I don't really care. I just buy products based off like what I like. So let's just get that out the way, right? That's my history with Apple, right? I love and use their products. Not well. I like and love some of their products and use them, while everything is not that great for me per se. So let's get kind of like into why I say that I'm living with Apple, right? Their ecosystem, right? Sorry, I had to check on the time here, but anyway, their ecosystem, right? Their ecosystem is really amazing. Some will argue that it's unmatched to this day, right? I would not necessarily say that anymore. Now, if we talked about this a couple of years ago, maybe like, I don't know, a year or 2 years, maybe at the most, I would say they're completely unmatched, right? There's no competition on the market. But, I mean, being a guy from, on both sides, like Android, well, at least let's say this, let's say Samsung, right? Because we keep classifying Android as a whole, right? We can't do that because Apple, iOS, Samsung, Android. They're using because this is the company name, Samsung the company name, the iOS is their operating system, and Android is the operating system that Samsung uses. So yeah, you get the drift, right? So just not classify them as a whole, right? But Samsung is doing really, really good as far as like taking whatever Apple does as far as their ecosystem and making a a product, right, that's comparable to that. And they're doing it really, really good. Now, if I had to say like which one is more polished and which one is more seamless. Apple wins by, not like a mile or whatever, but they're definitely ahead, right? They definitely had the vision and the plan way before Samsung decided to jump onto this. I mean, just last year, I think I remember going on Samsung's website to go buy a phone or a device. Forgot what I bought. I buy a lot of stuff, right? And I seen that they were trying to advertise their products as an ecosystem. I was like, look at them. Look at them trying to step up like Apple, right? But Apple already had this plan like a long time ago. So them every time they drop a product, they already know how to. They're already planning how to fit this product into the rest of the products that they have, so they can try to convince you to get that product and use it. You know, aside all the other products. Samsung is taking products that's already made kind of per se and just like throwing some software in there to connect them together, and it's like, a lot of them are seamless and good. I think like use the auto switching of the earbuds, right? So the AirPods or AirPods Max, whatever Apple earphones you got, it don't really matter, right? The wireless ones, any of Samsung ones, well, modern Samsung ones, because you got to keep in mind the older ones don't do it because again, Samsung planned late while Apple was already ahead of the game, right? So Samsung newer models can do seamless switching. It works just as good as Apple's. Matter of fact, I find it sometimes way better than Apple's, and I hate that feature on both Apple and Samsung. So I turned it off because I be watching a movie on my tablet, and I'm gonna use Samsung example real quick. I be watching a movie on my tablet, and then I get on my phone while I'm watching the movie on my tablet. I'll have the earbuds in or whatever like that, and then just say that I'm on like Instagram or I'm on Twitter, and I end up clicking a video by accident. Then it'll swap over real quick and play that video for me, and then when I stop it, it'll swap back over. But I didn't really mean to click the video, so it's playing in there now, and I'm like, yo, chill, like I'm not watching or playing music or something like that. And with Apple, sometimes it's like a delay between that, or sometimes like with my Mac, when I'm listening to excuse me, all right, when I'm listening to music, well, let's say on my Mac, right, with my AirPods Max, when I'm listening to music on my phone, and I'm like, oh, let me go to Final Cut and do some video editing. I get up on there, and I open up Final Cut to finish up whatever project that I'm working on, and I click play, and it plays on the computer through the computer speakers and stuff, right? And then I'm sitting here waiting for. I'm thinking like, oh, it's going to seamlessly connect, but then I get the little notification in the right hand side top of the corner. It says that AirPods Max are nearby, connect. And then I click it, then it connects, and then it switches over. So it's not all the time seamless when it comes to that. And I'm not saying Samsung does it better, and I'm not going to say Apple does it better because that's your argument that you like to fight about. I don't care. I'm just saying in my experience, because this is what this video is about, that sometimes it just doesn't click. So features like what's on the Apple Watch are pretty much on Samsung's watches or whatever. Fall detection, a lot of other things that and just think about this. Give and take. There's features on iOS watch or watch OS that's not on Wear OS with the Galaxy watches, and then Samsung also has features that iOS doesn't have. Matter of fact, Samsung has features that no other watch has that I can think of. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me not get in that conversation because you know what, I don't buy anything but Apple watches and Galaxy watches, so let me get out that conversation. All right, so anyways, with that being said, there's a feature where iOS can unlock your phone with your mask on with the watch. People might be like, well, Samsung ain't got that. Well, to be honest with you, Samsung don't need it, right? Because they got fingerprint readers, so you don't have a problem with a mask on. So it's not, they didn't have to create a solution for a problem that they don't have. So people don't think like that a lot. They just like, they don't have that feature. Why would you ever need that feature with Samsung when you can just put your finger up there and unlock your phone, And then, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Yeah, I guess if you're a face unlock guy, but if you care about security, like most people talk about all the time, right? You're not going to really use face unlock as your main unlocking on your Android devices because obviously, as far as security goes, they prefer the fingerprint while Apple prefers Face ID for security. So, Android likes fingerprints, which I like better, to be honest with you. And then you got Face ID security over here. Now, it'd be great if Apple does the Touch ID security, and it'd be great even if Android does Face Unlock or Iris Unlock. I love that feature as far as security. So you can have two security, But well, besides your PIN, right? I guess Japan for both is security too, right? Or whatever password you put in. I guess that would be one too. But you know, the eyes and the face is pretty cool to do or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, with that being said, so the ecosystem that Apple has is very, very good. I love it a lot. I don't really use a lot of the features of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. I'm not one of those people who care to keep buying all their products so they can work together because I don't like all their products, and that's the thing for me. Is the products that I do have that I do like, maybe like I'll just put it like this: the features out of their ecosystems that I use a lot is probably like AirDrop. AirDrop. Oh, seamless switching, I guess. God, that's why is that so hard to think about? Because I really don't use these features, right? That's crazy. So I'll say AirDrop. I'll say AirDrop and like maybe seamless switching is what I use in ecosystem. The whole sidecar thing, using the iPad a second screen monitor. I wouldn't do that because if I was going to be a second monitor type of guy or whatever like that, then I would just buy a second monitor or whatever. I don't feel like that's something that can fit into my workflow because normally when I'm on my computer and I'm editing, I'm just editing video or I'm editing footage, photos, and I don't need a second screen to do any of that. I'm not going to multitask doing it. I'm going to focus straight on my video and I'm going to focus straight on my photos because I'm editing client photos or whatever. So I'm going to put all focus there. I don't need a second screen for anything. I mean, I guess you could say I could put my music player on that second screen or something and control my music while I'm doing that, but I can, it's not that hard to click on your little, at the bottom and change your music or whatever headphones I got on to double tap. I guess my AirPods Max I can double tap. I think it's double tap to go to the next song, something like that. I really don't use these that much. I'm still like old school where I pick up my phones to still control like everything that's going on and stuff like that. So, yeah. With that being said, yeah, that's that, right? So I don't use a lot of the features within the ecosystem, but when I do try them, I'd be like, wow, I can see how people love this. I can see how people who really like really into Apple will always like buy this product and buy this product and use these together. Some people when they buy this stuff, they just force themselves to use it. It ain't like they need it, right? They talk about it, and I know a lot of people talk about this stuff. I see it every day, but I really, it's really hard for me to believe, and I'm not saying that people don't, but do you use every single feature? I got multiple products in this house, right? Like from almost any brand that you could think of, and I don't use every single feature that is presented to me. I use the ones that I don't have to think about. I would have to think about using Sidecar. I would have to think about using. Uh, I can't even think of any other features because I don't use them, right? But it's features that I would have to think about using, and those are the ones I don't use. Even with my Samsung phone having all of these crazy features, or whatever like that, right? And I could show people. I could show people like, yo, you could do this, you could do this. But in reality, I don't use them because I had to think about it. It has to do too much thought processing for me to be like, oh yeah, let me. That's right, I could do this. The things that's natural to me. So like, let me explain something like what I mean by natural, right? So as a Windows guy, right? I use Windows, mainly, and I use my Mac Mini, or I use iMac for, or Mac OS for like editing my video because I kind of like fell in love with Final Cut, right? So let me just tell you how simple of a feature that I mean, like when I don't think about stuff. So I I reset my Mac recently, right? And a good friend of mine, told me about a program that's it's called like it's like Snap or something like that. I forgot the name of the program, but what it does is just allows you to snap your windows on Mac in the corners and down below and to the sides. That is a feature that I've been using on Windows since like it ever released, right? Naturally, just 100% naturally, just natural. I don't think about it. I just, I pull up two browsers or I pull up two applications and I just snap one, start working on another one. Boom, just like that, right? Just 100% naturally, no thought process, right? Reset my Mac, and I realized that I had to download that app again, but I forgot because I've been using it since he told me about it, and I was like, "Yo, you saved my life," because I hated that I had to keep on like resizing on Mac and putting it in the corner and taking the other one, resizing it, and putting it in the other corner, and consistently. So naturally, when I grabbed the thing, I naturally grabbed it and was trying to work on two things at the same time, and I moved it over, and I was tapping it. I was holding the mouse and I was tapping the corner like, "Oh, is you gonna snap?" I was like, "Oh, that's right. Mac OS don't do that." So I had to hit him up and was like, "Yo, man, can you tell me the name of that program again? I forgot." And then I think it was called Snap Tool. I'll find out if anybody's interested in it. It was like $10 I think I paid for, or $5 or something. But it was like heaven to me because something that I normally do, I couldn't do on my Mac OS or whatever. And I'm not even saying Mac OS is limited like that at all. I think it's a full operating system, so it's fine. I could do mostly everything I could do on Windows up there. So I really have no problem with really Mac OS at all whatsoever. But I think that feature needs to be up there by default. I mean, that is a very useful feature. I don't know, if you're a Mac person, then you're definitely not used to that. But if you're like a Windows guy and you coming from that, that is like so awesome. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. You just got to try it. It just snap your windows, and you can snap four windows. I would never do that though. But again, and you'll say, well, you can buy an iPad and use Sidecar. Now you want me to spend money to do that, right? Like you can just slide the other thing over there and do the other thing over there. Now I got to spend like another $800 to get an iPad to do that. No, y'all solutions be crazy as I don't know what. It'd be expensive. A solution to that would be just let them put that in the software. That would be the better solution than buying something like, oh well, you can unlock unlock your iPhone now with your Apple Watch. Well, I don't have an Apple Watch. Well, if you buy one, then you can do that. You don't have a problem. You still got to spend money for a solution that they should just already have a solution for that. Granted, they didn't know nothing about this pandemic that was going to happen, but we're not here to talk about that, right? Ecosystem, right? Ecosystem. Look it back to focus, right? So everything, the way Apple connects everything is really amazing, man. I be seeing videos of people using the what's that thing, y'all? Y'all already know what I'm talking about, man. When they go from one screen to another screen to another screen to another screen with all the products. Brain fart right now. I can't even think about that right now. Brain fart. I was like, wow, that's some cool stuff, right? So Windows don't have that. Samsung don't have that, but I'm pretty sure Samsung's gonna do it this year, next year, or something real soon because it's like they got an executive in the back looking and like, okay, we got to get that now. Yep, we got to get that. You see, Apple got that. We got to get that somehow. Yeah. It ain't going to be as seamless as Apple's or whatever, but I thought that was really, what is that Jen called? Jeez, you're watching the video. You're probably saying it right now to me, and I don't even know. But you know what I mean. That is some cool stuff, right? But I don't see myself using that. That's cool to show somebody and talk about, but I don't see myself using that or whatever. So, again, it's all good. Anyway, so I'm not going to end this video right here, but I'm running out of time right now, so I'm going to have to stop this real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's get back to the ecosystem, right? So, pretty much living with Apple in its ecosystem has been really, really great for me. Like I say, but mainly I just don't use a lot of the features within it. So like I told you before, I can get why people love it so much, and while they why they continue to invest into it, and how great Apple make everything so seamless and how everything connects together. But it's like one of those gifts and curse when it comes to that, because it's like you want one product to do a lot more without having to buy another product, like the iPad, how we want more out of an iPad. And I do, and a lot of people do, and a lot of people was like, I don't care because I got a MacBook and, whatever, right? But, wouldn't that be great to be able to carry like a iPad 12.9 inch, or even if they made a 14 inch or 15 inch iPad like Samsung done, and, you have like some kind of hybrid iPad OS, versus like, I don't know, iPad OS 2.0. I don't know, and it kind of turns it into like a hybrid computer where you can get a lot of the work done that you do on your MacBook or on your iMac or your Mac Mini or whatever device that you do have, and you can do that on a go or on a tablet using the pen. Just that would be just so phenomenal. I would love to do that. I would love to have like 100% full blown like Photoshop running on the iPad, or even Final Cut to edit videos. And at that point, I would try it. I would actually try to edit on a tablet, but based off the program apps that we do have now, like LumaFusion and some other ones that I don't even know because the only thing I know about is LumaFusion, it's great, right? But it's only great if the iPad is your only computing device. I would never choose to edit any video on my iPad over using my iMac or my Mac, just say Mac, period, whatever Mac you have, to edit when I could use Final Cut over LumaFusion. It's just not a thing. Now, if I didn't have that, then there's no choice, and to do it just for the sake of a video is another reason to do it, right? But some people do use iPads as their only creative tool, and I commend them, but that's not me. So just because somebody can do it don't mean that everybody is for everybody. Even if you're an Apple person, some people prefer not to. And if you are not an Apple person, some people probably prefer not to as well. So you can't just assume because yes, you can do it. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. That everybody wants to do that. That's not to me. That's not comfortable. I like a bigger monitor. I like a mouse. I like a keyboard. All of that. The iPad doesn't provide all of that. 12.9 is not a monitor. You would not go out and buy yourself a 12.9-inch monitor. You won't. So just keep it real. So but some people are okay with that. If you're okay with that, that's you, that's fine, that's great. You're a creator on the iPad. You can probably, I actually follow a YouTube creator who does everything on his iPad. I think I watch him because I'd be like, wow, how can you do this, right? Not saying that his work is good. His work is good. Let me just say that. Not saying that his work is better on an iPad or anything like that. It was phenomenal. But I'm just like, bro, like, how do you spend this much time doing this? Like, I could just get a mouse and a keyboard and just get it done faster. Because I'm pretty sure that the way that he's editing his videos, which are amazing videos, by the way, they're really great. He's going through a lot of loopholes. He's going through like a lot to achieve, what he's achieving when, he can just do it easier on an iPad. But it's probably fun to him. So I mean, on a Mac, but it's probably fun to him. So fair enough. I'm not judging that man. I actually like his content and I like his videos, and I'm impressed with what he do on iPad and how his whole channel was around the iPad. Well, his creative flow is using iPad for editing and everything. So that's freaking awesome. I think he even used the Affinity Photo and everything like that, which I also purchased myself and tried, but it's not for me. I'm a Photoshop guy. Photoshop on iPad, everybody knows it's trash. It's very limited. So there's no way I'm going to be, limiting myself to using an iPad just for the sake of using an iPad when I have full Photoshop on the computer. And plus, I have a business and I don't got access to plugins or anything on iPad, so it's just not for me. Not anybody else, just not for me. So I don't really use it. iPads and tablets in general are made for me as like drawing and media consumption. That's pretty much it. Oh, and document signing, because I do have my clients sign my contracts on my tablets, whether it's iPad or whether it's a Galaxy tablet, which I currently use now. So yeah, that's how it fits into my workflow for that stuff. So they're good for what they're good for as far as me, and for other people it might be their main computing device. But I got two Windows machines in the house and one Mac machine in the house, and yeah, that's it. I had two Mac machines in the house, but I just sold my MacBook Pro. But yeah, so with that being said, Apple ecosystem is wonderful. I keep saying that. It's wonderful because it is, right? And there's ecosystems out here that that's not really comparable to them, and there's ones that's growing that you should keep a close eye on because they might sneak up on you one day. But I think that and we got to take in consideration too that Apple's ecosystem only consists of mobile and not really like just go back to Samsung because like they're the only ones that's making ecosystem. Well, Google has one. We'll talk about that on another stream. Anyway, so with Samsung, they also have multiple products like TVs. They have refrigerators, smart refrigerators. They have microwaves and stoves and everything. All of that stuff is part of their ecosystem too. It connects to their devices. And I don't mean like some kind of seamless connection like in computer. When you drag your mouse from one computer to a monitor to your other Mac to your iPad or whatever like that. That's Apple. Seamless connection through their mobile devices. And what I mean by ecosystem when I say that, when it comes to Samsung, is that you can control your phone. Your phone can control is the hub, right? Your phone becomes your hub. Yeah, and I hold up a Pixel right now, the Samsung phone. I don't know where is that. All right, so when what I mean is that your phone is your hub to connect all of that. So you can control your washing machine and your dryer from your phone. You can control your microwave. You can control your refrigerator. All of that. That's what like that's an ecosystem, right? That's how you build your ecosystem by having products control other products or work together somehow. And controlling it is a way of working together. So yeah, you get it with all the Samsung devices and everything that you can connect together. As far as refrigerators and everything else. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, so with all of that or whatever, it's great and stuff. But I think if other companies put more focus like Apple did, then they can have a really great ecosystem, at least in the mobile part, and then later try to branch out to other things. Until then, I think that Apple is probably just going to have the best. For me to make a blanket statement and say that nobody will ever match Apple, I could never say that because one thing that Apple do have control of is everything, and when it comes to Google, they also have control of everything. So if they ever decided to take the whole ecosystem thing serious, then they would be the ones I would feel that would be able to match them, and if not, be better because being open source, there's a lot more opportunity to do more things. As you can see, there's devices on the market that we don't even really know about. Just the other day, I seen a device that some big influencer posted. It was I can't remember what it was. It was like a walkie-talkie or a box or something like that. But he was like, believe it or not, this thing runs Android. I was just like, they just throw Android in everything. Like Android is in everything. Like Fire tablets and just pretty much everything, right? So with the limitless abilities of Android, it can become really really great. You know, um, some will argue about data, privacy, and all stuff like that. But as you can see, there's millions, possibly billions. I don't really know the population of people who don't care. They really don't care. They buy Android phones year after year. They buy tablets year after year. They use Google services year after year. I mean, it's no way that because of how you feel about it that you're going to be able to convince the world to stop using Google. No matter like it's so crazy when somebody comes to me a lot and be like, why you got so many Google apps on your iPhone? I guess you just don't like your data, right? And I just turn my head like I appreciate you caring about my data, bro. I really do, and my privacy and all of that stuff like that. But like, I haven't stopped using their services now, and I'm not. And I'm pretty sure that same person uses like Google, probably search, YouTube, or one of Google services, right? It's excuse me. It's kind of hard not to use their services, but there's people out here who don't, and kudos to you. But I don't. I don't really care. I mean, I don't really know how to explain that, deep down inside. I really don't know how to like, I'm not going to go into how deep, privacy and just like, how most people just take it, so far that it just like gives you a headache. I really don't care. I just enjoy using the products that I use. I don't know how else to put that. So, um, you know, I love Apple. Don't get me wrong. And just so you know, since you're up here listening now, I am a person that's going to be like 100 about everything that I do and everything that I say. So if you hear me say something negative or bad about Apple, it's not about Apple. It's about the product that I use from Apple. If I'm having bad experiences with it, if I have a bug, if I have a glitch, or something never worked or whatever, it's not Apple. It's the product that I bought from them. Like my AirPods Pro Max. Sorry, my AirPods Max. I just sent off my third pair. Third pair. I just sent mine off for the third time, getting repaired. I haven't returned them. I haven't say F this product and said all this stuff about it. I kindly go on my Twitter and tell everybody, hey man, my AirPods is doing this and doing that. I got to send it off again. Just sharing my experience with them. Not saying that I don't like them. I love them so much that I'm sending them off again for repairs instead of just returning it. Most people said they had issues with theirs and they just returned it. But I mean, when I like a product, I like a product. I give it a chance. I love my AirPods so much that I'm willing to deal with the bullcrap that I'm going through as far as these things. So and that's just not them. That's everybody. That's even my Pixel problems that I've been having with this device. I've been reporting back and doing videos and telling everybody, as well as the Pixel Buds and stuff like that. And as far as Samsung, Samsung's been doing really good this year as far as like bugs and stuff. Like I got up on the beta. I am not even turning this to an Android video. Back to Apple, right? So whenever I report any bugs, I'm only telling you about my experience. I'm not trying to tell you that the company is trash and it's bad, it's bad. Is there a lot of stuff that I want Apple to make changes as far as their phone and as far as like their iPads and everything else and a lot of their products? Yeah, I do. I mean, that's not just them. That's anybody. It could be anybody. Any product I have in this house right now, there's always room for improvements. It's always things that I want. When I buy it, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had this. Why can't I get that? I recently bought the, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, I bought the Canon EOS RP, right? And this is the full frame camera, and I love this camera, right? And I was like, well, I might get into video. I don't know. I might or might not get into video. And this shoots 4K, but the 4K is cropped, and the 4K is also, you lose dual pixel autofocus. So you lose that really good autofocus. And while I had this product, I love this product. As far as what I needed it to do, as far as like at least 1080p video, but I didn't buy it for video. I bought it for photography, right? For my clients, right? And it works. It does everything I need, right? But then I outgrown like I grew into the video part of it, and now I wanted 4K, with, dual pixel autofocus. So did I want this camera to have that? Yes. Of course I wanted to prove this, but I couldn't. I mean, no matter how much I wanted it to have this product was never going to get it, right? So I had to upgrade to the next product to get that. And that's where I got the EOS R, which does it. So it's always going to be a product that you have that you want to do more, but it's just, the company decides not to do that. So there's always room for improvements. And if they did this right here, I probably would have bought like 2 more of these or whatever, right? Instead of buying 2 Rs. I would have bought 2 more of these and been fine. And this is a great camera. And it's small, lightweight, fits in my bag. This is my walk-around, carry-around camera. I use this more than I use my cell phone cameras or whatever because, I'm a person of quality. But, yeah, so there's always room for improvements and everything like that. And people seem to, take that as like somebody's saying something is bad about a product. Just because we want improvements don't mean that we saying that the product is bad. We just wish that it had this. We just wish this company would listen to us and give us this. People learn to live without a headphone jack. Myself, sorry. People learn to live without a headphone jack, myself included. Do I still agree with it? Do I still want a headphone jack? Do I still love that? Am I okay with it gone? No, I want it back. I miss it, but I did have to learn to live without it. Then okay, then the excuse would be you can use adapters and all this stuff like that. Bro, I don't want to carry an extra piece of equipment to use this equipment. That's the thing that people don't seem to understand sometimes when it comes to like decisions that, Apple makes and these other companies. You can't keep telling me that I can go buy something else to fix the problem. And I hate that. I get it so much, especially with Apple. Products from people. Let me put it like that. Let's break it down like Apple products and the people. They try to do what Apple is exactly doing to them and us, is creating a problem, selling us a solution. And you're just like, I'm okay with that. I'm like, it's okay not to be okay with that. It's okay. Even after you adapted to it, it's still okay to not be okay with that. They brought back the ports and the Mac and everybody started going crazy like it's a new feature, bro. They should have never took it away. They should have never took it away in the first place. But whatever, man. We're not gonna get into that. I'm just here to tell you that living with Apple has been, it has its ups and it has its downs, and I'm going to continue to have them into my life because, like I say, there's products by them that I love, and Maybe one day, well, when the iPhone 14 come out, I would probably switch my main SIM into my iPhone 14, go back out and grab another Apple Watch. I'm definitely not touching their AirPods unless they drop like the AirPods Pro 3 and the sound quality is better, like they did with the AirPods Generation 3, I think, because I heard some good things about it. I haven't heard them myself yet, but I definitely want to try them out. But I really don't care for like the AirPods that just kind of like hang out your ear or whatever. I really don't still like the design of AirPods to this day, but I don't like I like the silicones. I like them to go in my ear because the sound quality is so much better and stuff like that. So maybe if I buy them, I'll give them to my girl if after I'm done testing them or review them or something like that. But I'm really holding out for the AirPods 3. I have actually high expectations for it because if the rumors are true about as far as what the videos I said about the sound quality of the Generation 3s, then I'm very looking forward to the Pros because that was my biggest problem with the Pros was the sound quality. Didn't really care for that, but all the other features and ecosystem stuff that fits in there was like it was great, but nothing mind blowing. I mean, I don't get really mind blown about a lot of this stuff, but I really thought that feature when you drag the mouse thing all the way to all the screens was fucking cool. Actually, what is it called? Sidecar. Uh, Seamless. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm there. Seamless something. Seamless switching. Seamless connection. Holy crap, yo. It just clicked to me in my head. Oh my god. Let me do it. Uh, what is that? How can I even Google that? Apple's seamless. What is it? What is it? Apple's new seamless connection. I don't I don't know. What is it called, guys? What is it called? Continuity. What is it called? What is it called? Seamless control. Is it seamless control? I don't. Man, why do I not know this? This is crazy. Oh wait. Seamless experience across all devices and moving to another. What is it called? This is the article right here. Give me the name. 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 What is the name? How you go through this whole article? Handoff? How you go through this whole article and they don't even mention the name? They're talking about explaining it and everything like that. Gosh, man. That. Anyways, yeah, that feature again is freaking. I forgot. Y'all know I'm dumb, man. Forgive me. That feature though is really cool. Again, I ain't gonna use that, but that is really cool, man. I gotta admit that's some cool stuff. If I was like had all my Apple stuff right here, like a MacBook and my iPad and then my monitor, iMac or whatever, and somebody came up in my studio and I'd be like, "Yo, bro, check this out," and I just go like that, I'm like, "Yo, I ain't know you could do that." Especially like the average consumer because they don't know nothing about Apple. They buy the iPhones, but they in the watches and everything else, but they really don't know anything about it. If you don't believe me, like look at the videos I'll be posting. I got some videos called "Do you know your iPhone?" Because everybody keep thinking that people who buy iPhones know their iPhone. They don't, man. They really don't. And it's funny watching the video. I'm gonna continue to make those videos because I think they're pretty funny or whatever. I might throw some Android guys up in there, some girls, and see if they know their phones. But I doubt that too. You know what I'm saying? The average consumers don't care. That's us, bro. That's us. That's the whole point of the video, right? The average consumers don't know. But anyway, so you show an average consumer that they be like, "Yo, that's crazy," because I showed them a lot of features on my Android phones that I can do. It's not really more so my Pixel, but more so like Samsung because Samsung always got those like mind blowing features too as well, right? That's pretty cool or whatever. So when people see it, they're like, "Cool." Not trying to convince somebody to switch over and everything like that, because I wouldn't switch over to a phone because of a feature. That's stupid. Or even an app. I'm not even locked down to an ecosystem or a platform because of apps or whatever like that. It's just like the function. The functions is what pull me in. Like if this can function this way, this function this way. And just to be 100 with you, like a lot of things that I do on my Android phone, I could do on my iPhone as far as like apps go, but functionality, no. The functionality is different. That's where Android wins me over in functionality compared to iOS. Not saying that iOS can't do a lot of those things, right? They can, but there's like sometimes an extra step that you have to do or there's a workaround. So there's either extra step or there's like a workaround or it just does it, right? So directly do it in step or workaround. So with Android, it just works. Dang. That's weird, right? Like I'm saying that with Android, right? Because that's what everybody say with Apple. It just works, right? Dang. But that's the reality though, because if I did a video too, also if you want to check it out on my channel, where it was like simplicity, right? Showing simplicity, and it was showing like things that both platforms can do, and which one does it more simple. And like obviously, it's a versus, but it's not really a versus. Is because I don't like to try to like do versus and have people fighting back and forth. But I was just showing like day to day tasks, things that I do, and people do on their phone. Where some people I think I do, I don't know, and show you how simple it was to do it on Android. While iOS you have to do like a little extra and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where I'm at. So when people say it just works, I don't. I'm not gonna give Apple the functionality just works argument. I'll give them the it just works where their products, where their software is good, right? I'll give them that. Not iOS 15, but their product software is good. You don't really have too many issues with them, and that's the just works for me. That's where I would like that. You're right. That just works, and that's cool. I would give that argument, but functionality and trying to do a task, I wouldn't say it just works on Apple. I would not. I can't give them that. They still don't even have like a proper file system to say it just works, right? Like I can't connect my phone and use it as a storage to my computer like I can do any Android device in the world pretty much, and use it like as a thumb drive or something like that. It just works on Android, right? So I would say that, but software wise, um, which is a small gap today. It's not a huge gap. I guess you know if you're like a iOS only person, or some kind of bias super fanboy towards them, anything that I'm saying is like you're lying. You hate me right now. You don't like what I'm saying, and I'm wrong, and whatever. Everything iOS is way better, and that's where your mind is at right now. But just being a guy who me being a neutral ground that uses both daily on a daily. I literally use these. I carry these two every day, and my perception of it just works. Things work a lot simpler over here than over here. Then I got to do extra stuff over here, and every day, I'm not even saying one is better than the other. Like if I didn't have this, everything that I do up here, I can definitely do up here. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? But it's just simple up here than it is up here. But it, if you somebody that's in between that carry both, and know you'll listen to this and you'll understand what I'm saying. And if you're just completely just biased to one side, just say just Apple for instance, because I'm pretty sure somebody is watching this that's like that. They don't like me. They probably already turned the video off at that too, or whatever. But it's fine, because you can't convince people like that who already made a decision already, right? You already made a decision based off what everybody else was saying, based off, probably not even your own information. Probably you haven't even used an Android phone. And if you have, you probably used the older one. And if you use a new one, you probably you went out there and bought it, and you already had in your mind, like, I don't like this, is Android, period. So therefore, every little thing you're gonna find is gonna bug you. You're gonna be like, yo, why when I take my Android phone and I'm swiping it, it's like a delay. It's like a 2 second delay. I'm like, bro, you like, no, not even 2 second delay, like a 1 point or 0.5, something like that compared to my iPhone. They were finding like the smallest things to like complain about and just say iOS does it better. That's what they want to say. iOS does it better, or iPhone does it better. Just the smallest little difference in something, and it's just so I can't complain about the small things, like how widgets work on iOS and Android. Widgets are active. You can actively use a widget on Android where iOS you can't. I don't complain about that. I don't care.
Someone's at the front door doorbell.
I'm in the middle of a video, and my fiance wants to ring the doorbell when she has a whole key. You hear that? I'm not even gonna stop the video. It's gonna keep going. Anyways, she's probably gonna burst in the studio right now too, as well, knowing that the door is shut. The door means that I'm recording, so we're gonna see what happens live here today in Delvon Studio. Anyways, guys, so back to iOS and all that stuff like that. Apple is great, man. I love it. I love what they're doing. I love how they're pushing some industries to become better as far as ecosystems. I do not like the push that they're doing to have people remove stuff from boxes and headphone jacks and everything else under the sun. The bad things that kind of like hurts the consumer more than helps or whatever. But other than that, I think Apple is a great company. I don't think they're like consumer friendly. Really, it's about money more to them than us or whatever. But that's cool. I mean, that's that's life, right? You can't expect somebody to be caring about us as much as we care about ourselves or anything like that. So they got to make their money, right? They got to pay the bills, so you can't hate on them for that. So I don't. It doesn't bother me what they do or whatever. If they make a decision about a product and I don't like the decision, I just won't buy it. It's that simple. I'm not locked into them. I'm not locked into their ecosystem. I'm not locked into Samsung or Google or anybody. So if somebody makes a product that I just don't like, I just won't buy it. It's not that serious. Like some people are so invested into Apple where if they come out with a new Mac or a new iPad or a new iPhone and then like you ready to upgrade and no matter what, you have to upgrade to that iPhone. Like whatever changes they made to the iPhone is probably going to be the next iPhone, the next iPhone, the next iPhone, the next iPhone, the next iPhone. Then you're going to have to live with that for the rest of their life. So you have to make a decision. Where me, on the other hand, I be like, man, I'll just get an Android because I like Android anyways. But I'll just get this phone and this phone because this phone still does this and still does this and still does that. Where I'm not buying into like one company and stuff like that. So I think that's a dangerous slope. Because like I say, at that point you have to like whatever they're gonna make, right? Or if you don't like it, you have to deal with it and you have to find your workarounds because you love the ecosystem. You love the seamless connection that they give you. You love how everything works together. And I get that, right? I really do get that. But that's not me. That's you. That's other people. That's not me. So I'm not going to allow myself to get to that point. I'm going to try not to allow myself to get to that point with any of these companies where I'm stuck in like this web of buying just their stuff and because it just works together and I have to deal with it because I like buying things that make my life more comfortable and make things more easy for me. And having everything seamlessly connect like Apple's ecosystem with mobile is fine, right? But that don't work for me because I don't like all the products. I want to buy all the products. I want to buy the ones I like, and my iPhone, my iPad, and that stuff works with my computer just fine. AirDrop is like heaven sent, but Android has it now. Nearby Share and Quick Share, or whatever. Well, Samsung has Quick Share and Nearby Share, and Google dropped Nearby Share, which they even sent out the update in the Google Play Store to all the old Android devices. So pretty much, I've been picking up like old Android devices. Um, Taking pictures of people with my Pixel because they'd be like, "Oh, your picture quality is crazy, right?" And I'd be sending them their pictures on their phone and stuff like that, which is pretty cool because I'd be like, "Oh, I wish they had Nearby Share, right?" And I picked up this old Android phone. I'm like, "Oh my god, they got it!" And I'd be so shocked. Like I'm like, kudos to Google for backtracking so far back. I don't even know how far back it goes, but you're doing a good job, and I'm glad that you finally kind of like brought that Nearby Share to the table. Now, if we can just get that on the computer soon, I heard it's coming this year. That would be great because I actually like sending photos from my phone to my computer on my Mac or whatever. But I barely do it a little bit because I use Google Photos to connect all my devices together. So my photos are kind of already synced and already on my computer. So I barely use it, but it's definitely handy when I need it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast here. I appreciate you if you stayed to listen to this. I know it was long or whatever, and I'm sorry if I rambled, but I'll catch you in the next one. Devon Digital out.